Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on all orders over $10. From July 4th through August 26th, if you use this promo code, you will automatically be entered into a drawing to win a set of all 4 Commander 2019 decks. Also, there is another way to enter where no purchase is necessary. See the description below for full details. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to another edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch, where today we're going to check in on all aspects of the secondary market as we do every Saturday. So this is Commander 2019 release weekend, and you are going to see some influences from that product coming out. There's folks picking up certain cards to upgrade those decks, but we're not going to talk about Commander 2019 card prices in particular today, because they are dropping really aggressively right now, and I'm going to wait for them to stabilize a little more before we put them into the Saturday video. Also, there were some pretty big events last weekend, and the results of those events are impacting card prices this week. Without any further ado, though, let's get into it. We'll begin with the top 10. Yeah, we're going to do 10 again. Standard legal cards that have lost value this week, just because we're getting closer to rotation. There's a lot of cards losing value right now that are standard legal. Wanted to give you a good picture of what's going on. Number 10 is Angrath, the Flame Chain, down 45 cents to $4.69. Not a lot to say about this one. It is approaching rotation, really seeing little to no play at this point, and not just in standard. It's not doing much in other formats either. This is going to lose more value. Number 9, Nexus of Fate. This is the Buy a Box promo for Magic 2019. This can only be found in foil. It goes down 50 cents to $12.35. So this is still kicking around standard. Bant Reclamation decks will run 4 copies of these. You still see these Nexus packages and decks here or there. However, this is about to rotate out. What does it do outside of standard? Not too much. There is a deck called Sultai Wilderness Teaching that runs 1 copy of this, but that's really all you see in Modern. This is a decent commander card if you're looking for a lot of ways to take extra turns, but like the previous card, this will lose more value in the coming weeks. Number 8 is the Immortal Sun, down 63 cents to $15.77. Another card approaching rotation, another card that's seeing virtually no standard play at this point. So this will lose more value, but notice it is still over $15. The reason is there is an audience for this card. Commander players, Oathbreaker players, they're going to want a copy. So this will lose some more value, but it might not go as low as some other cards that are rotating out this fall. Number 7 is Stomping Ground. Now this is the one from Guild Pack, the original. It goes down 90 cents to $18.55. Standard Jund Dinosaurs plays this right now, but not a whole lot of other decks are using Stomping Ground. That could definitely change next season because this card is not rotating out, so it's going to stick around in the standard format. Now this does see a ton of Modern play, but one place you will find this in Modern is some of the Hogak builds. There's a very strong chance that on Monday, Hogak is going to be banned in Modern. That could be part of the reason this card is softening up just a little bit. Number 6 is Steel Overseer. 2 copies here. Magic 2011 down 92 cents to $6. Dual decks Elspeth versus Tezzeret goes down 95 cents to $8. So this got reprinted in Core Set 2020, which is why some of the older copies are a little soft right now. This is seeing nothing more than fringe standard play currently. However, it's not rotating out. It's going to be in the format for a while, so who knows what the future holds there. In Modern, this is good in a couple big decks, Hardened Scales and also the Classic Affinity deck. This also sees play in Vintage Ravager shops. Number 5, Blood Crypt from Dissension. Another original Shockland goes down 96 cents to $23.74. Like the one we saw previously, it's not rotating out of standard this fall, but this is found in Hogak builds, so again, that could be part of the reason it is getting a little softer this week. Still sees extensive Modern play beyond that, though. Number 4, a Leyline of Sanctity. This is the one from Magic 2011, down $1.01 to $10.07. Another card that was reprinted in Core Set 2020, making it standard legal, but also softening up some of the older copies of the card at the same time. So it's not seeing a ton of standard play right now. Sometimes you'll find it here or there in a sideboard. When it does show up, it's usually in like a Masterminds Acquisition deck. Now, outside of standard, though, it does see a fair amount of Modern play out of sideboards. It's going to defend you against burn, discard effects, mill effects. Also sees a little bit of legacy play out of sideboards, too. Number 3 is Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, down $1.06 to $22.98. This is another card approaching rotation, but this one has stayed strong the entire time it's been in standard. And right now, it's in some big decks. Esper Tempo, Esper Control, Jeskai Super Friends, sometimes in Bant Scapeshift sideboards. This also sees Modern play. Modern Control builds, sometimes Snow Shift. This card ultimately will lose more value, but it will not bottom out because of the play that it sees in Modern. Number 2, Escape Shift, down $1.60 to $21. This is the original from Morningtide. Of course, this was reprinted in Magic 2019, making it standard legal. Didn't really do anything, though, until this past season, which, of course, is the last season when it will be standard legal. Now, Field of the Dead was the card that really made this standard playable. And not only was it playable, it was a force this season. Escape Shift was a very, very successful deck. There were other variations on that deck as well. So with rotation coming, this card softened up a little bit, although don't expect it to lose a ton of value. It will probably lose a little more. The Magic 2019 copy will definitely lose more than this one, but this does see play in big modern decks. Titan Shift, other variations on Titan Shift like Titan Breach. Snow Shift is a newer deck running this too. I expect this to always have a home in modern. Number 1 is Crucible of Worlds. Magic 2019 down 67 cents to $24.32. Fifth Dawn down $1.98 to $28.95. Of course, another card that is rotating out of standard. Unfortunately, it never really found anything to do in standard during its time here, but there were players hanging on to copies hoping that the right cards would come along to make this standard playable. It just never happened. Those players are already getting rid of those copies at this point. So you're seeing a little bit of softness in not only the Magic 2019 copy, but also the original copy this week. Now, aside from that, this does see play in other places. Modern Tron builds, War Prison, and more. This sees Legacy and Vintage play too. Commander, Singleton formats. This is just a fun casual card generally. Ultimately, it's always going to have value. Might lose a little more before it stabilizes though. Okay, quickly, we're going to look at the top 4 Magic 2020 cards not found in booster packs that have gained value this week. Long story short, these are cards that are not in booster packs, but they're in special supplemental products. In some cases, the Spellslinger starter kit. In some cases, the Planeswalker decks. And in a lot of cases, which you'll see today mostly, the welcome decks. Those are decks that game stores give out to new players to teach them how to play the game. They're actually free. Now, typically, people don't take these decks apart and try to sell the singles because even though they are technically standard legal, they're not necessarily very powerful cards. However, there's some unique ones out there, and there are collectors that are interested in these. Unfortunately, when you don't have a lot of sellers selling them online, people are setting really high prices. Do not pay high prices for the cards. This is the whole reason I show you this part, just so I can get that message across. Don't pay the prices that you see online. Either try to buy them locally or just wait for the hype to die down. Eventually, people will move on to the next thing. Okay, one card is going down in value. That's Hostile Minotaur, down 63 cents to 42 cents. Okay, that's more reasonable. You can find 2 copies of this in the Spellslinger starter kit. Number 4, Phantom Warrior, going up 92 cents to $4.14. This gets brand new art, which is part of the appeal here, but don't spend over $4 on a Phantom Warrior. Just don't do it. You can find 1 copy of this in the blue welcome deck. Number 3, another card with brand new art, Disentomb. It goes up $1.14 to $4.69. You can find 1 copy of this in the black welcome deck. Number 2 is Frilled Sandwalla. You'll find 1 copy of this in the green welcome deck. It goes up $1.29 to $3.20. And number 1, Woodland Mystic. You can find 1 copy of this in the green welcome deck as well. But this is a brand new Magic card. You can't find this anywhere else. It goes up $2.18 to $5.99. Okay, on to the top 5 standard legal cards that have gained value this week. Before we get to the top 5, though, I do have one honorable mention. It is Lotus Field from Core Set 2020. It goes up 39 cents to $6.59. So this is not moving up because of standard, but because of modern. There is a Twiddle Storm deck that's actually performing pretty well. We talked about it last week. If you want to hear more details, check out that video. But it put up some decent results, and it does run 4 of this in the main. There's also a few other cards from that deck going up in value a little bit. They didn't quite make our list today, but if you're interested in building that deck, you may want to keep an eye on those cards. There is one that we will see a little bit later. At least this week, there's definitely a trend upward for a number of them. Number 5 is Mox Amber, up 52 cents to $9.99. So you look at this and you say, wait a minute. This card was never that good in standard. And beyond that, it's about to rotate. What is happening here? Well, at this late hour, somebody figured out what to do with this card. Last weekend, there was a deck that performed extremely well using this as a combo piece. And it's called 4-Color Legend. Some people called it Kethis Combo, though. But you take a few copies of this, Kethis, Diligent Excavator, and the deck can just go off. It's actually really sweet. Because it's such a unique deck and it did well, you do have a number of people that have decided they're going to try to build the deck even if they can only play with it for a few weeks in standard and just have a good time. Nothing wrong with that. When we do get closer to rotation, this price will most likely come down pretty hard. It's still a good commander or Oathbreaker card, so I don't expect it to lose all of its value. Mystic Forge is at number 4 up 64 cents to 369. This card is kind of blowing up right now. You might say to yourself, 64 cents doesn't really feel like blowing up. But considering how many packs of Core Set 2020 have been opened recently, and this is a rare, not a mythic rare, as a matter of fact, same as Lotus Fields, pretty impressive actually that they are going up and not down. In this card's case, it is also because of the play it is seeing. Not really standard play, but in Modern it's in a lot of decks. Sideboards of a few, Eldrazi Tron and Affinity for example, but there's a new version of Tron running 4 copies of this, Mystic Tron or Charged Tron, there's a few different names for it out there. Now, aside from that, this is seeing play in Legacy and Bomberman decks. Vintage Shops builds are using this. And Commander 2019 has garnered interest in it too. This is a card that works well in the Faceless Menace deck with Morph because the way the rules work out, this does work with Morph cards. And also, in the Mystic Intellect deck, you have Elsha of the Infinite. They work very well together. Mystic Forge can exile a card from the top of your deck if you get stuck. Plus, having both of these in play just opens up more possibilities of things you can play off the top of your deck. Number 3, Leyline of Anticipation from Core Set 2020, up 66 cents to 544. This, of course, is a reprint. Another Core Set 2020 card, though, that is a rare, not a mythic, going up in value. This one's even going up a few cents more. What's the deal? This has always been a great Commander card, but again, awesome upgrade for a couple of the Commander 2019 decks. Kadena Slinking Sorcerer is going to work very well with this card in the Faceless Menace deck. Savine the Chronoclasm will also work great with this in the Mystic Intellect Flashback deck. Number 2, Temple Garden from Ravnica City of Guilds, another original Shockland, but this one's going up 65 cents to 14.24. Part of the reason is the extensive standard play this has seen this season. Bantscape Shift, Bant Ramp, for example, are going to use this in the mana base. Modern Hexproof decks, but so many other decks too in that format will use this. Also, unlike the other ones we saw earlier, typically you don't find this one in Hogak builds. Number 1, we already talked about why this is going up, but Keth is the Hidden Hand up $1.64 to $3.79. Also, aside from standard, this is a very good Commander card too. Okay, let's move on to Modern with the top 5 Modern legal cards that have lost value this week, but I do have 3 honorable mentions this time. Here's the first one. It's Dark Confidant from Modern Masters 2015, down $1.65 to $75.83. So this is a very highly played card. In Modern, you're going to find this in some big decks like Jund and the Rock and others. As a matter of fact, those 2 decks, they might see even more play after Monday if Hogak does get banned. Legacy, you'll find this in Depths builds, 4-color Loam, Jund there too, and more. This also even sees some Modern play. So why is it a little softer right now? Really, it's because of Wrenn and 6. There are a number of decks like Jund that are running Wrenn and 6 now, and they need to make room for that card. In some cases, they lose a copy or 2 of Dark Confidant. So I do think this could lose a little more value, but we do have to see what happens on Monday with a banned and restricted list update, because that could change things a lot going forward. Our second honorable mention is Phyrexian Arena from 8th edition. It goes down $1.67 to $9.85. Nothing crazy here. It's a very good Commander card. A lot of people were putting these in their Yawgmoth builds, as a matter of fact, recently. However, this one gained value kind of aggressively, so you're just seeing a little bit of normalization this week. And here's our third honorable mention, Karn Liberated from Modern Masters 2015, down $2 to $64.45. Huge card in the classic Tron decks, of course. However, there's a lot of different options now if you want to play Tron. You don't have to go with the classic build. Now there's even the new Charge Tron, for example. So I do think there are some other options out there, combined with the fact that this was reprinted in Ultimate Masters not too long ago. The result is the card is still a little bit soft. Number 5, Polluted Delta, down $2.20 to $50.28. This is the original one from Onslaught. This is a pretty big loss for a card that sees a lot of Modern play, a lot of Legacy play, even Vintage play. But this does see play in some Modern Hogak builds, and because of that, it is softening up this week as people brace themselves for the announcement on Monday. Number 4 is Auntie's Hovel, down $2.47 to $24.99. So when Modern Horizons and even Core Set 2020 came out to some degree, we got the tools to build a Modern Goblin deck, and it was pretty good. Not amazing necessarily, but pretty good. It can put up a good result here and there. And as time goes on, we're only going to get more Goblins and more cards added to the format, so the deck definitely has potential. Who knows, maybe this deck gets better too if Hogak gets banned on Monday. But with that being said, this card did go up in value very aggressively during that time period. Now you're seeing the retraction. This is also good outside of Modern for players that want to play Kitchen Table Goblin Tribal, or if you want to play Goblins and Commander. Number 3, Mox Opal, the original from Scars of Mirrodin, down $2.50 to $102.57. This card's not going anywhere. This sees play in Urzathopter Sword, a newer deck doing very well in Modern, Hardened Scales, classic affinity. See some legacy and vintage play too. Why is it going down? Well, last week or the week before, I did mention that I felt like this card probably hit its ceiling, and that's what you're seeing here. It likes to move between $100 and $105 typically. I think it will continue to do that until eventually it gets another reprint. Number 2, Flooded Strand, another original Onslaught fetch land, down 254 to 36.25 this week. Wow. Again, sees a ton of modern play, legacy play, vintage play. Why is this one going down? This one just kind of feels like an anomaly in the market to me. I wouldn't read too much into this. It'll probably just bounce back next week. Number 1, Ensnaring Bridge from 7th edition goes down $4 to $54.99. These Ensnaring Bridge cards got really hot when Karn the Great Creator came out not too long ago. A lot of decks that wanted to run Karn also wanted to run these. Because of that, we saw a lot of growth, and now we're seeing some retraction. Still sees a ton of play though, sometimes out of sideboards and Tron builds, for example, in Modern. But this is in a lot of big main decks too. There's a Thopter Sword, Prism builds. Outside of Modern, you'll find this in Legacy Prism builds. Even in Vintage, you'll find this in Karn shops. Okay, on to the top 5 Modern legal cards that have gained value this week. I do have one honorable mention. It is Misty Rainforest, and this is from Modern Masters 2017. It goes up $1.80 to $68.08. So this card was losing a little value recently, so it's just stabilizing now. You'll find this in some big Modern decks like Infect and many others. Also sees Legacy and Vintage play. Number 5 is Tarmogoyf. This is the one from Modern Masters. It goes up $1.89 to $56.95. These are still trying to find their price point a little bit. This one coming up this week. He's playing a lot of important decks, John the Rock, and a lot more in Modern. Legacy and Vintage play as well. Again, I do think some of this could be coming from the fact that a lot of folks think Hogak will be banned in Modern on Monday. John the Rock, some of the shadow builds that run this, they could get better. Bitter Blossom comes in at number 4. This is the one from Ultimate Masters, up $2.80 to $49.95. Quite a jump for this card, and I do think it's because it is the Ultimate Masters copy. Some of the other copies were rising recently. This one was lagging behind a little bit. So this does see Modern play. One of the bigger decks, maybe Affinity out of the sideboard. Also sees Legacy play. But the reason these have gotten hot recently is because of Throne of Eldraine. We know there's going to be some fairies in that set. So people have been picking up cards related to fairies, and this is one that has been hot recently. Number 3, Jace the Mind Sculptor from Worldwake goes up $3.19 to $137.99. This one rebounds a little bit after losing some value. This original copy tends to stay around the $135 mark typically. Sees a lot of play, as you know, Modern Control builds, sometimes now in Snow Shift, Legacy Miracles, Azori Stoneblade, Grixis Control, 4-color Leovold. This sees Vintage play, Commander, Oathbreaker. Card shows up everywhere. Number 2, Ball Lightning. 2 copies here. Masters 25 up $1.05 to $3.23. The Dark goes up $1.94 to $24.62. So this does see a little Modern play in a Rakdos Elementals deck. Sometimes it can put up a decent result, but I don't think that's why it's moving this week. I think it's moving because of Commander 2019, specifically Greven Predator Captain. This card is in the Merciless Rage deck. It could be your commander out of the box if you chose to make it that. And if you do that, Ball Lightning might not be a bad upgrade card, or a lot of people are taking this out and trying to build completely around it. Number 1, Past in Flames. Innistrad goes up $1.75 to $8.23. Modern Masters 2017 up $3.94 to $9.87. This is a key card right now in a newer Modern deck, that Twiddlestorm deck that we mentioned earlier. That's part of the reason you're seeing such a big increase here. But there's other players interested in this as well. Legacy Storm players might want this card. And, maybe more importantly, Commander 2019, this is a good upgrade for Mystic Intellect. Okay, on to our Vintage Spotlight. This is where we talk about cards that are good in Vintage, Legacy, 93, 94, and also cards that are important to collectors. We're going to begin with Strip Mine from Antiquities, but pay attention to the art. This is the Uneven Horizon variant. If you look at the very top of the card there, it looks kind of jagged, the mountaintop, because the cloud cover is coming down. This is the one going up. It goes up 1071 to 93.95 this week. Earthquake from Unlimited. We've talked about it. Unlimited cards have been very hot recently. This week, this particular one goes up $14 to $70.08. Here's another one. This one has been hot, though. Vesuvan Doppelganger. This is on the reserve list, but it did get a reprinting and revised. It goes up $16.47 to $89.95. Okay, the next 3 cards are all unlimited dual lands, as some of these are starting to get hot again, too. They are all on the reserve list, but they all did get reprinted and revised. This is Scrubland. It goes up $47.78 to $370. Then we have Tundra going up $145.36 to $699.95. And Volcanic Island going up $148.39 to $1,037.55. Basically, with these cards, there are just a few higher grade copies out there on sale this week. And because there's not a lot of sales data, few higher grade copies can actually impact prices like this. Pyramids from Arabian Nights. This is on the reserve list. It goes up $248.20 to $312.86 this week. This one was just a buyout. Someone bought out all the copies that were reasonably priced, and that's what you see here. Now, the jump in price is either because somebody had copies listed that were not at a reasonable price, or the person that actually bought them listed some at a higher price to make it look like the value is higher than it is. This has already started to come down. Typically with these buyouts, they won't go back down to where they were when the buyout occurred, but they usually do go back down quite a bit. We might already be starting to see the beginning of that, actually. Okay, on to our Commander Spotlight. Again, we have a lot of cards to talk about, so I'll go kind of quick here, give you the main reason why they're moving. First, we have Ulamog, the Infinite Gyre from Rise of the Eldrazi, up $1.05 to $26.77. So this is always a decent Commander card in like those colorless builds. We saw those get really popular a few months back. But there are some cards from Commander 2019 that this also works very well with. One is Dockside Extortionist from the Mystic Intellect deck. This is a card that's just going to combo very well in those colorless builds because you're hoping to ramp into a lot of mana quickly, then make a big play like Ulamog. Or this also works well with Atla Palani Nest Tender from Primal Genesis, because Atla could potentially cheat Ulamog into play. Enlightened Tutor from Eternal Masters goes up $1.05 to $33.91. This card just remains hot. Tutors are good in Commander, and it seems like whenever they disappear off our list for a few weeks, they manage to make it back on again, and that's what you're seeing here. Phyrexian Altar from Invasion, it goes up $1.11 to $24.06. This is another card that does play really well with Atla, which we saw a moment ago, because you could sacrifice an egg and then hopefully go get something really crazy out of your deck. And this also plays very well with another card from Commander 2019, Gerard Weatherlight Hero from the Mystic Intellect deck. This is a card that wants a lot of creatures to die and then of course wants to die itself, just so you can bring everything back. If you have good leaves and enters the battlefield effects, for example, could be pretty powerful, and you'd be getting mana as you do it. Power Artifact, this one is on the reserve list. It goes up $1.12 to $149.98. Classic Commander card used for infinite mana combos. Recently, this card got hot again because of Urza Lord High Artificer. Stoneforge Mystic up $1.14 to $35.99. What is this doing here? Well, it's a fine Commander card. Anything that tutors, like we said earlier, can be very good. Also, this does see Legacy play. But the reason this is going up this week is because many times right before the Banned and Restricted List update, some people speculate that Stoneforge Mystic will become unbanned in Modern. Now, I really don't think that's going to happen this time, and here's why. This particular Banned and Restricted List update is an off-cycle one. They added these off-cycle ones a couple of years back, I believe it was, so that way if they had a big Pro Tour and they noticed something wasn't really good for the format, maybe the Pro Tour discovered a combo that was too good or something like that, they could a couple weeks later go in and fix it. Kind of like a lot of people think will happen this Monday with Hogak. The off-cycle ones are not really there to unban anything. In fact, they rarely make any changes with the off-cycle ones, so we'll have to see what happens on Monday, although I'm not really feeling it. Mycosynth Golem, this goes up $1.19 to $16.31. This is another card getting hot because of the card we saw earlier, Dockside Extortionist. Again, it has influenced people to go back to some of these artifact or colorless builds. It's just a very good ramp card there. And this synergizes well with the treasure tokens it creates. Doubling Season, this is the one from Modern Masters. It goes up $1.26 to $57.88. Awesome upgrade card for Primal Genesis. Volrath's Stronghold, this is on the reserve list. It goes up $1.29 to $49.90. Now this does see a little play in Hogak Lands decks and a few other decks there. That could be part of the reason it's going up in value. But a lot of people are picking this up to play with Karag, Son of Yawgmoth from the Merciless Rage Commander 2019 deck. This card is incredible. Some people will throw this into their existing Yawgmoth build. Other players will just build around this from scratch. Also, Volrath's Stronghold could be a good upgrade card for Faceless Menace as well as the Merciless Rage deck out of the box. Demonic Tutor, this is the one from Dual Deck Anthology. It goes up $1.40 to $35.06. Another tutor here, one of the more powerful ones ever printed. Maybe not a coincidence that this is a black card too, as people are trying to build around Carrick right now. Jet Medallion. Here's another coincidence. This is the original one from Tempest. It goes up $1.41 to $15.25. This card got hot recently because of Yawgmoth. Now it's getting hot again because of Carrick, son of Yawgmoth. Sword of Fire and Ice. This is from Modern Masters. It goes up $1.43 to $69.99. Great commander card. Sees a little legacy play too. Bloom Tender up $1.63 to $49.99. Yet again, a classic commander card. This one is yet to be reprinted. And I think it's that time of the video. I'm going to use my one. This one is from Eventide. During that time period of Magic, there was a lower print run for these standard sets compared to other modern era Magic cards. Because of that, they do tend to get a little spiky at times. And this is just probably going up because it's a solid commander card and you have some more people interested in commander right now with Commander 2019. Faceless Menace and Primal Genesis, they both play green and would love to have this. Another card moving because of Commander 2019, Epheto Runecaster goes up $209 to $299. This is a good upgrade for Faceless Menace. Another upgrade card here for Commander 2019's Faceless Menace deck, Words of Wind, it goes up $213 to $989. This will play very well with Kadena Slinking Sorcerer, who we saw earlier. Third verse, same as the first, Primordial Mist goes up $250 to $510. Another card you might want to put in that Faceless Menace deck. This one is yet to be reprinted. It's from Commander 2018, and that's what you're seeing. A lot of the cards from supplemental sets are harder to find. Older cards are harder to find. Those are the cards that are spiking the most aggressively if players are interested in using them as upgrade cards for Commander 2019. Angus Mackenzie, this is on the reserve list. It's from Legends up $265 to $199.95. Kind of expensive, but good pillow fort card for Commander. Belthor, the Defiled, goes up $266 to $21. This was a big mover last week. It slowed down a little bit this week, but still it broke the $20 mark. This is a good upgrade for the Merciless Rage deck, which of course is playing a lot of black and red creatures. And it also plays well with Carrick, son of Yawgmoth, who happens to be a minion. Next we have Cabal Coffers. This is the one from Plane Chase. It goes up $278 to $52.57. And I'll give you one guess why this one's going up in value this week. Yep, you guessed it. A lot of people just want to build around Carrick, son of Yawgmoth. This card was getting hot recently, though, because of Yawgmoth Thran Physician as well. Mana Vault, 4th edition goes up $1.13 to $28.93. Unlimited goes up $4.28 to $134.99. Now, the unlimited copy might just be moving because it's unlimited. Unlimited cards tend to do that. But I did notice the 4th edition copy was going up quite a bit this week, too. Great commander card and also a very good vintage card. Alright, time for our Pauper Spotlight. Let's see what's going on there. Crop Rotation goes up 10 cents to $3.72. This is the original one from Urza's Legacy. So this sees a little Pauper play. Sometimes you'll find a copy in a Tron build here or there. However, this is really moving because of Legacy. This is in a lot of Legacy builds, and it's in some decks with Hogak most recently. That's probably what's pushing the small increase. Pyroblast from Eternal Masters goes up 12 cents to $4.04. Great Pauper sideboard card, also sees play in Legacy and Vintage sideboards. Okiba Gang Shinobi, this is the one from Plane Chase Anthology, up 13 cents to $2.56. These cards have been hot recently. You're going to find this in Snow Mardu Monarch, which is a very good Pauper deck right now. And also this is in some of the Pestilence builds. Scred is back after it missed a week. It goes up 16 cents to $4.21. You're going to find this in Jeskai Snow, another very popular deck right now in the Pauper format. And it's in a lot of other decks here too. Sees modern play as well. Ash Barrens from Masters 25 goes up 21 cents to $3.76. This is just a Pauper staple. It's all over the place. But it is a little surprising to me that this is still going up. The other Ash Barrens have come down a little bit, but there is a copy of this card in each of the 4 Commander 2019 decks, so obviously as of this weekend, a lot more copies are getting out there. Rhystic Study from Prophecy goes up 50 cents to $20. Now, this sees a little Pauper play. Sometimes you'll find a copy of this in like Mono Blue Delver, for example, but this is a Commander staple. And with Commander 2019 decks coming out, any deck playing blue, Faceless Menace or Mystic Intellect, they would love to have a copy of this. And that concludes our Market Watch for this week. Hey, as always, thanks for spending the time with me. I appreciate you watching. Please remember to like and subscribe and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon and have a great day.